I am Shani Curry Saintville, and I'm so glad that you tuned in once again. So all month long, during the month of February, you can tune in to Purse Empowerment TV and tune into a series entitled For Love or For Money, because you know one thing that's gonna happen this month, people gonna be talking all about love. They're gonna be posting on Facebook about where they went and where they're going and who bought them what and who forgot. But I want to make sure when you tune into us that you get to have some conversations about how to love your money and how to have effective communication with your mate all about money. Alrighty, so there is no one better to kick off this series than with one of my love buddies, relationship coach, Cass.
Hey.
Alrighty, this isn't our first time sharing the TV space together. It is always really, really good to have you with me. I was going to say me with you. Yeah,
together,
you
yes.
know what I mean. You have done some really monumental things in the last couple of months as it relates to really building your platform to make sure that people get information about building healthy relationships. Yes. One of your most recent accomplishments is that you now are a guest host on Rick Potty's show, giving out love potion. Mm-hmm. We love it. Okay, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you have a special place in your heart for single women.
I do.
And because I know you, I can Jones on you. That's because you were single for quite a long time, right?
I was single in the 06, 07, 08, 09, girl, long time. Real long time.
Either way, you're no longer single, right? And I'm sure that you learned a lot about being single. You learned about how to be by yourself. You learned how to date. You learned how to now, find, court, and get married. So those are monumental lessons, especially for a woman who is very tuned in. Yeah. You got your certification as a relationship coach. Yes. So I know that you're one of those people that is deeply tuned in to communication, how relationships work effectively, and what actually makes them fall apart. Yeah. Alrighty. So for all the single ladies, I'm not much of a singer. I'm not going to do that for you, but we're going to kick this conversation off definitely for you. And right off the bat, we've talked about this a little bit before, but you tend to think that single women, should start off on the first date. The money conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
You running your credit.
Can you please come with your credit report to the first date, please? If it's not over 800, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work out. No, I'm just kidding, Shani.
All right, good.
I'm just kidding.
All right, so tell me about this single woman, and this is her first date. They're either probably going to a movie, or they're meeting at a coffee shop, or they're going to have dinner. So how do you think that she can begin to understand his money habits right at the gate?
Okay, so I'll take it back to my single days, right? I remember going on a date with a guy, and after the date was over, he said, I'll pay for this one, but you got the next one, right? That was the end of the conversation. That was it. That was the last date.
The money conversation.
That was the money conversation. Okay. So it's so important to pay attention to the habits of the people that you're dating. Do they pick up the check? Are they often overspending? Are your values in line? So for instance, every single time you go out, do they need 3, 4, 5 drinks? Are you a drinker? Does that go along with you? Them spending $400 every time you go out to eat. Does that send red flags to you, right? Because people will essentially start to complain about the things that are bothering them. So if he or she starts to talk about, these bills keep coming in, or this bill collector keeps calling me, this might be a problem. There might be some things there that you want to have a conversation about if you start to see those red flags that don't align with you.
Okay. Yeah. So now I'm thinking about my little single self, right? And I had it easy because I actually was my husband's banker. Oh. So I had it very easy. So I got to skip that whole conversation. I know. I was his banker. He came in and was like, hey, maybe not. I don't know. So I had a different situation, but I'm thinking about a single woman, recently out of college. She's just dating, and I know she definitely do not want to be coined as a woman who is looking for a man to take care of her. She doesn't want to be seen as that horrid word gold digger, you know. So if we are making these type of, you know, suggestions or observations about the check or the kind of car and things like that, sometimes women can get kind of, you know, tagged for that.
Well, the main thing is not to ask a man, you know, what do you do in terms of how much you make? You know, in conversation, it could come up, hey, so, you know, this is what I do during the day. So what do you usually do during your day? You know, it's a very simple conversation. So too many times we say, so what do you do?
Right.
You know, and that seems so prying.
Yeah.
Like you're interrogating the person.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, why do you need to know right now? We just met. This is our first coffee date. You know, so how do you spend your day? What do you usually do on the weekends? You know, little things like that. If he says, you know, well, I was out on my yacht last Saturday, you know, and my Ferrari's out front, you still want to be careful because sometimes people are fronting, right? So you want to be very cautious and start to understand, okay, if this is now a pattern, then okay, every weekend he's on the yacht, every Sunday or Thursday he's out at his rental properties. Okay, so maybe he has something going for him. Right. But if every week he's you know, just at home on the couch and that's all he's doing, I would say that's a red flag.
Okay, that would be a red flag.
Red flag.
And I don't want anyone in our audience to mistake this conversation as to necessarily prying. However, as being a personal finance expert, money always comes up. Yes. Whether you talk about it actually or if it comes to you subliminally suggested. So if you're not doing any of these observations initially, and then 3 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in, 10 months in, you know, and now you're at the altar, and then you're at the other altar because now you're praying to see exactly. So we're trying to make sure that those types of conversations are kind of, you know, minimized and had, you know, initially rather than on the back end.
Right. So one thing that just popped up for me, Shani, I remember I was dating a guy and I said, hey, well, how about we go to the movies? You know, because, you know, that's always a conversation. What should we do tonight? Let's go to the movies. Oh, well, you know, it costs money to go to the movies. Okay, well, let's go to the park. Well, it costs gas money to go to the park. Gas money to go to the park down the street? You want to walk there? Well, you know, I don't know. So I started to realize, okay, well, maybe this person isn't the person for me. Not saying that money is everything. You could do many things for free. But at the same time, if they're so money conscious and it's a lack of mentality, maybe that's not the person for you either.
And then and what that stands out to be is that you may be financially incompatible. At that point, you're just financially incompatible. So this conversation is nowhere to steer you to be like, oh, let me see what he makes and what he drives and what he does like this. You're making this observation to see whether or not if you guys are compatible. Is there going to be any cohesion and cohesiveness? Alrighty, single ladies, I hope that you like that bit of a segment, but now we're going to dig into our married folks, okay? Because they are already married to each other's money, okay? Alrighty, so the main thing that we have to know is we have to have some ways to talk about this. This money thing cannot be the pink or the gray elephant in the room, right? Okay, so if we're gonna pull out 5 good ways to effectively communicate with your mate about money, what would number 1 be?
So number 1, I would say, Shani, is timing, right? Everything is timing. So just think about it. You're hungry. You've had a very, very long day. You're tired. You just want your feet rubbed. And now your husband's coming to you like, hey, let's talk about the bills. That's not a good time. No, not at all. So I would say number 1 is all about timing. Timing is everything. So really making sure that you're fed, making sure that you've gotten a good rub down, and making sure that you feel good. You know, like a pretty Saturday morning, going for a walk to talk about money is such a good thing. So timing, and then also the place. You know, having a good place. Not money conversation in your bed, let's not make that so serious, right? Maybe in the kitchen. Maybe go for a walk and talk about it. So it's all about timing and then the place that you have it.
All right, good. So the first point, number 1, it's all about the timing. I'm just going to go ahead and just, you know, put that one in a can for you. Number 1, timing. The man cannot be hungry and it cannot be horny. Okay, let's just get that right off the bat if you're going to have an effective conversation. Okay, I know you don't like it, you don't love it, but you'll thank me later. All righty. So number 2, what would be next?
Okay, so next would be reviewing your core values. Oftentimes we come up from different backgrounds, right? So even if you live in the same household with someone, you have different beliefs when it comes to money. So even like my husband and I, we come from from a same cloth. We're both of Caribbean descent, Haitian and Jamaican. So we have the same value system, but not always is that the case. So one person might like the most extravagant things in the world, and the other just wants to make sure that there's food on the table.
Right.
So there can be many clashes if those values don't come together. So being able to review them and say, hey, honey, well, how do we come to a compromise? So for me, I was able to take my husband to Dubai for an anniversary, but it was on a budget, right? He didn't want me to go
on the high end.
Yeah, exactly.
Of
So
Dubai.
we kept it real
on the
middle,
mid-level.
and I was approved. You know, the stamp of approval came in, but otherwise it would have been a problem.
Exactly, got it.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I often say to my husband, I want to review the same board of directors you have, you know, because when I bring things to the board,
right,
you know, they get pushed back.
Yeah.
But suddenly, when you bring something to the board, they're like, yeah, that's great.
Great
That's
idea.
great. No, I want the same board. So yes, so reviewing those core values. So tip number 1 is timing. Number 2, being able to pull out the core values. Okay, and then tip number 3 will be what? To have this effective conversation.
Say what's bothering you.
Say what's bothering you.
So many times, you know, you end up in these huge arguments because you've been holding on to something.
Right.
Maybe you've been watching, you know, your wife has been supporting her mom, right? She's been sending her mom money just to help with the bills, and you know, it's been a year now, and you haven't said anything, and then all of a sudden you blow up. Well, how many more checks are you going to send to help your family members?
Right.
You know, those are the things that you need to say from the beginning.
Okay.
If you have a problem, even if it's with a $33 pizza, that's another conversation, but
All
I
right,
got in
another
trouble.
one. Thank you
I
very
got
much.
in trouble
Thank
for
you
a
very much.
$33 pizza.
Thank you very
okay?
much. Okay.
You got to be able to say it right then and there to be able to let it go, because when you hold on to things, it starts to spew into other areas of your life.
Okay, I love it. So number 1, timing. Number 2, review your core values.
Yes.
Number 3, you're gonna make sure you come on.
Number 3 is saying what's bothering you.
Speak up or shut up.
There you go.
Okay, speak up or speak up. Those are your only
Speak up or
options.
speak up.
Speak up or speak up.
That's
Don't
it.
speak up, but don't shut up. Don't hold
No,
up.
don't
Okay,
hold it.
got it. All right. Tip number 4.
Tip number 4 is pray.
Pray.
Yes.
Yes.
Prayer.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to those serious conversations of debt, right?
Yes.
I know specifically, you know, at times you come to a marriage and not both of you are debt free.
Right.
So you're looking at debt and you're like, okay, well, what do we do with this?
You say that's a lot of debt.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I got to pay all that.
Yeah, like me, you want me to help you with that? Pray, hallelujah. Okay, we gonna pray together,
Right.
You know, and really coming together to go to the source, you know, because you can't do it by yourself. Finances on your own is tough, but together it could be tougher, you know, to come together with the same values, compromising and understanding that you have to bring that third strand in. You know, God is amazing, and being able to have that prayer when you start the money conversation helps set the tone for the conversation as well.
Okay, so after you pray, so you can stay, because if you don't pray, you're not gonna stay. I'll tell you that right now. That's it right up there. I'm telling you, single, married folks, you got to pray if you're gonna stay. Hashtag pray if you're gonna stay.
That's it.
Okay, so after people finish praying, right? Because faith without works is dead,
Amen.
right? So after they finish praying, what is after that situation? Let's just say they have tons of debt. You know,
Yes.
they have loads of debt and they have prayed. Great. They pay
Yeah.
their tithes or not, whichever way of the pendulum they fall.
Right.
So what then is next?
Number 5. So number 5 is all about thinking of we instead of I. What happens when you come in a marriage, oftentimes you're still thinking about yourself, right?
Right.
Okay, your debt, your stuff, your parents, your family, you need to help, and you're not really making decisions together. So
Right.
it's so important in the small and the large things to say, how can we do this together? This is what I'm facing, yes, but how do we come together to maximize or to dissolve this situation? Because what happens when you make those decisions by yourself, your spouse could feel unneeded, right?
Oh,
and that
these are
becomes a
wonderful.
problem, right?
Yes.
That becomes a real problem. If you don't need me, then why am I here? Oh, you just want to roll up. I've had that situation with a girlfriend, right? So growing up, she saw her parents, you know, make decisions separately. One day, her dad rolls up with a brand new car, and her mom is like, with egg in her face.
Your mom's like, who car that is?
Like, I didn't know
That's
anything
your
about this, right?
Got
you know,
it.
so making those big purchases can really cause a wall, cause a rift, and cause real problems. So being able to think of how do we do this? So for like my husband and I, we set up, okay, what's our savings for the year? How are we gonna tackle this? And we do like mini touchdown dances every time we drop more money in the savings account, because we're together in this. How do we knock out this debt? My husband had this kind of debt in his student loans, and now that we're married, he has this kind of debt. And it's because we said, okay, how can we do this together versus you doing this by yourself? So coming together as a team, I would say, is so important, because when you just do it by yourself, then what's the point of being married?
Got it.
Your whole focus is to be together. So why not do a team effort?
Absolutely. This has been absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so I do hope that you were able to pick up with 5 ways to effectively communicate with your mate about money. Casandra, do you have anything coming up where couples can sign up to show up and go up in their relationship?
Oh my goodness. They can just check me out on inspiremany.com. I have amazing things coming up. Yeah, we do have events. We have an amazing coaching program for single ladies.
Okay.
All my single ladies. You know, that successful businesswoman that does really well when it comes to business, but not so well when it comes to relationships?
Yes.
That's my lady.
Those are your ladies.
Those are my ladies.
That's who you're looking for. And how can people find you on Facebook? What are your hashtags and things like that?
Okay, so it's Ask Coach Cass on Facebook, and then on Instagram, Twitter, everything else is Inspire Many. Inspire Many.
Alrighty, Casandra, it is always a pleasure sharing time and space with you. I hope our listening audience that has tuned in, we ask for you to do only 3 things. 1, if you really like this video, please like it, please comment, and please share it. If you have any specific questions, you can drop them in the comment box. We're always looking to extend and expound on this conversation to make sure that we are providing some helpful tools to make sure that you can talk effectively with your mate about money. We love ya.